33-story hotel and condo project.
I'd probably be
Okay,
like
like
that.
stop, tap.
This is a plan by the community for the community.
This one here, show me.
No problem, Ken. Thanks for having me.
It's Kent Mulgat for KelownaNow. And we're joined by Chris Funk and Dave Cousins, a couple of members of the class of '68 at KSS. So, you've had a few of these reunions over the years.
We have.
And
But this is the big one.
yes.
This is the 50th.
wow. And so, take me back now. How many were in this grad class of 1968?
Approximately 260. It was huge.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of the people that were at KSS, that graded at KSS, had come in from Rutland. The Rutland school was too small, so they were busing them in. So we had a grad class of over 260.
Wow. So 50 years ago in Kelowna, that would be most of the people in Kelowna would have gone through there. So it's a real sort of connection to the whole community. Hey, Dave?
Without question. Yeah, it's you got 260 kids, and you've got how many families?
Yeah.
You think of all the old families in Kelowna, the Augusts, whoever the heck, the Collinsons.
Yeah.
Just tons of them, and they're still here.
Yeah.
They're still.
And a lot of
contributing.
the activities that took place in Kelowna was very youth organized, and amongst the sports, we had the hockey, and then the school, we had the football and the basketball and everything, and our teams were great.
Yeah.
And we had Kelowna Teen Town at that time, and dances on a regular basis, raising money for March of Dimes, and we drew in so many people.
Right.
In those days, you could put a piece of masking tape down on the floor in the high school and put on your dimes for March of Dimes, which was for the Crippled Children's Hospital, and nobody took them. Collected them, and it all went towards,
Wow.
yeah, a lot of fundraising in those days.
And there must have been something really cohesive about that group, because talking to you guys, it sounds like at the reunions you've had over the years, you get a lot of people going. Hey, how many were at the last one? Do you recall, Dave?
Oh, geez, I don't know. There had to be well
Well
over
over
100.
100.
Well over 100.
Yeah.
And I think it's collegially, it's almost built up from like year 10, year 20, year 40. You've got that people get to know each other even more. Like there's people there that I didn't know were in the grad class because I was pretty involved with sports. Some of the kids from Rutland, which were great kids, but some of them were in different classes. And then all of a sudden in year 20, you get to meet them and say, oh, I knew you, but I didn't really know you.
Yeah.
And so you've made some friendships over the years, which is kind of neat. It's, and then like looking forward to this one, it'll be that much more fun. It's, you'll see some of the people that are going to come from, say, Vancouver or back east, or
Yeah.
they haven't been back, and they look for excuses to come back home.
Yeah.
So out of that 260 odd people, how many stuck around and how many headed off? Is it?
It's interesting how many came back.
Yes.
It really is. I was just thinking the amount of people that did come back, if not to work here, but to retire here. I was able to go to a reunion a couple of years ago for the 66, and although it was a high school reunion, it turned into an old Kelowna week. And just to talk about Long's Drugstore and the old post office, and do you remember? And that's all part of the reunion.
Yeah. That old Kelowna Facebook page is a real good resource for when you want to start reminiscing.
It is.
Yes.
So
fun.
you've been to a few of these. Why do you like reunions? Obviously you like it enough to be actually organizing it.
Well,
Chris?
as an example, it came up in our last meeting just this week. A girl's name, her name was Deanne Harris, and she was my best friend in elementary school. I had no idea where she was. She's in Kelowna. If we can get together and just do, oh, it gets me chills.
Yeah.
Just to see her, and she's a grandma now,
Yeah.
and to touch base, and it's really exciting to reflect back. It makes you feel youthful again, because
Yeah.
we're an accumulation of our life, and
Yes.
those days were so just free and fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave, why do you like the reunions?
Well, again, it's just nice to go back and chat with people, and I like to talk, and you get to see what people have done in even the last 10 years, and some will show up that haven't been there before.
Yeah.
there's nothing better than being reminded of things that you've forgotten about. You know,
That's
like,
Oh yeah. Oh, the fun
and some are
memories.
not so good.
Yeah, but they're interesting
But they
too.
come up too, but now we laugh about them.
Yes, yes.
You know, what I find going to the occasional reunion is that, you know, when you're making conversation with people you see every day, sometimes you're struggling to come up with anything new because you just saw them yesterday.
Yeah.
But, you know, you let 10 years go by and there's all sorts of things to talk about, right?
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I always have to keep in mind, when I was a kid, I thought, well, Kelowna, what's Kelowna? It's nothing. Nobody is important here. It's Vancouver or Toronto or Ottawa. And I've come to the realization over these many years that Kelowna has been a hotbed of really talented people.
Oh, yes.
Like, you know, the kids we've graduated with. And to me, it's a 360 no matter what you do. If you love it, great. But there's a lot of people here that have gone on and done well in their own worlds. They've run their own businesses you never thought they would have. They've been very successful. And Kelowna is as important as Toronto or Vancouver, in my opinion,
It is.
after all these
Yeah.
years.
So some people have outshone your expectations as
Oh.
you saw them
Oh,
heading out of.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah,
which
just
is really interesting.
phenomenal.
In that respect, if you didn't graduate in '68, but you would have, please come.
Right.
It's my experience. We were sitting around a table at one reunion, and two people there had not graduated, and highly successful multimillionaires. They just went out there. I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
But if you didn't graduate, but you were in school at that time, please come.
Right. And I think also people who maybe were on a year either side of that grad year would also be welcome.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They've all got something to contribute. Like I mentioned earlier, it's like an old Kelowna. But we happened to grad in '68. Out of 260 grads, I think we can easily
Right.
come up with 100. But
And I take it that's one of the main reasons you're here today is to reach out to those people that were in that year that maybe have stayed away from a reunion or two.
or don't know this one is occurring.
Yeah. When you guys reminisce about life in Kelowna at that time, when it was really a sleepy hollow, how do you feel about how it's growing? We've got 12 high-rises in the planning stages right now. Is it a good feeling how Kelowna has grown so much, or do you yearn for the old days?
I think there's always room for more. But the old days were special. We didn't lock our houses. We didn't lock our cars. Some of the kids I chummed with in elementary school, we would take our bicycles and go over to Bear Creek on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
You know, those days are gone, but there's other things to replace them now that are equally exciting for the youth.
Yeah. What do you think, Dave, when you see what's happened with?
Well, I used to take the ferry at 5
Did
cents
you?
to the beach on the west
Oh,
side.
my land.
Oh, yeah. So, and I live in the house that I grew up in,
Yeah.
down in the north end of
Yeah.
Kelowna, an old log house, and I'm surrounded. There's a 4-unit condo right next to our house, and you know, over is the sales and all the high rises there. And there's going to be 36-story ones coming up. So growth is inevitable. That's all around us. Kelowna has been a beautiful city. I think it still is for the most part, as long as we regard it as such, and the planning, you know, is positive, and to keep the naturalness there. I do see, you know, like a lot of buildings that they're fine. We live with. I don't, you know, I find the traffic obviously is a little different.
Yeah.
Going
Yeah.
from a two lane Harvey Avenue to whatever the heck it is now, 4 lanes.
Yeah, some of the new areas you can barely count. You know, with all the service lanes on either side. It's
Yeah.
just a lot of blacktop, but yeah.
I appreciate the green spaces that have been left or created.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The pathways are
Oh yeah, mission.
excellent. Like we use them every day. Bike, and I see all the families that are using them. It's just so neat to have young families coming down the street in front of your house.
So you guys aren't going halfway with this. We should remind people this is September 12th and 13th.
Right.
2 days. You know, one night isn't good enough for you guys. What do you got happening that takes 2 nights to get it all done? Or do we leave that as a surprise?
No, the Wednesday night is a get-together casual at one of the original summer houses down on Manhattan Drive. In any case, it's a casual evening, and you can choose to come to either and or both. And then the following night, the Thursday, is at the Kelowna Golf and Country Club, and we'll have dinner and dancing.
Fantastic.
60s music.
60s music. You might spill into the 70s a little bit?
I
No?
doubt it. 60s was, no. The 60s was great.
All right.
Rolling Stones,
Beatles, Elvis
Oh, wow.
Presley.
Yeah.
That sounds like it's going to be a real gas. And
It'll bring back some wonderful memories.
Right. Well, thanks for making Kelowna Now part of it, part of this reach out to the class of '68. Hopefully, you get a bunch out. Hopefully, what do you expect? Maybe over 100 again?
That's what we're hoping
Yeah,
for.
our goal is 100.
Our goal is 100.
right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's always room for one more.
And really encourage the grads, or maybe they weren't grads, but whatever, 68, some on either side of 68. the
And
60
spouses.
And spouses,
Yeah.
or partners or whatever. And again, it's quite an enjoyable time. And one of the things that I think is really neat is that Kelowna Now, which we didn't have in the past,
That's true.
is on board and is really supportive. Like, I truly appreciate that because I've been involved with the media a bit, and just to have you guys
Yeah.
wanting to, highlight it.
Well, we like what you're doing. Thanks for coming in.
And thank you for having
you.
us.
And thank you for watching Kelowna Now.